Hello everyone and welcome to TrackMind TV. This is the spotlight show where we highlight talent and giftings. Now I'm sure you've seen these things in your houses, probably in shops. I'm sure you've come across this in very many places. So this is a ceramic, and today we get to talk to a ceramist, someone who makes them, and is going to tell us more about the ceramics themselves and his journey while doing it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Kindly introduce yourself.
I'm Philemon Ahami. I'm born in Uganda. I'm an artist, and I like art. Especially, I major in ceramics. Yeah.
Okay. Kindly share with us your art journey.
Okay. I actually am born in a family where they are scientists, and I actually chose a passion to do ceramics through my sister. She actually inspired me a lot, and I actually was born seeing her drawings, and I actually got a passion from doing those drawings and interacting with her and her work. And I got a passion to do art when I went to campus, and it was interesting to be in that area and field, and I'm so glad that I do art.
Okay.
Yeah.
So other than the ceramics that you make, are there any other forms of art that you do?
Yeah, probably I do quite a variety of work. Before I majored in ceramics, I was doing painting, I did sculpture, and I also do fashion. Though before that, I actually came for my master's in Kenya to specifically do ceramics. Yeah, but I'm an all-around artist, I can say.
All
Yeah.
right. So what are ceramics in the easiest possible explanation? What would you say are ceramics?
Ceramics is the use of clay using variety of techniques and using variety of media. So it's actually advanced pottery. So if I want I make a pot, I can actually decide to fire it at high temperatures, and then maybe I glaze it later. I can actually specifically decorate it using different kinds of slips, like the red slip or the white slip, which is called engove. And then maybe I can actually advance it in that kind of stuff to produce this kind of pot, which is a zebra kind of vase decorated in smoking technique. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's how I can really describe ceramics, much more advanced pottery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So would you say ceramics is still, pottery is ceramics or ceramics is pottery? Which is which?
I can say ceramics is more of advanced pottery, like decorated pottery, to put it into right language.
Okay, so the difference between it and pottery is that this one you have to burn it?
No, pottery is fired at low temperatures. Specifically, they don't reach to 900,000 degrees Celsius. So like if I make a pot, the local way for firing pots, they actually dig a pit and then they actually fire their pots. But most of the times they have fired. So this one, it's fired at 900 degrees Celsius, and I can still take it high more than that if I actually put a glaze on top. Specifically, depending on different kinds of glazes, ash glazes go for 2,000 something, and stone glazes actually are reduced to 1,000 something. So it actually changes to ceramics. So the difference is within the firing and the finishing, and actually the use of different kinds of medias. So pottery specifically, they use one kind of media, which is clay, and then ceramics, actually they use different kinds of products, maybe like porcelain. I think you have heard about it.
Yes.
porcelain, most especially the plates that you have in the house, or glasses, cups that you have in the house, that is porcelain. So that's ceramics, different kinds of variety of medias, and then the temperature, variety temperature.
Okay, now it makes perfect sense.
Thank you.
You've mentioned other different forms of art that you do.
Yeah.
What made you settle on ceramics specifically?
Back then, I actually, back home in Uganda, when I was doing my undergraduate, I really did a project work in ceramics. My project was in ceramics. So I happened to go to a company, an NGO called Vision for Africa, where I did my project work. And then it's a lecturer of mine who sent me there, and I fell in love with ceramics because I did my project work within 3 months, and then the rest of the time they actually employed me later. So I actually found out that I really like ceramics, and then I fell in love with it. That's how I actually came in love with ceramics.
That's how you settled on it.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. What inspires you to make such pieces?
A lot of things. I can say nature. These kind of actually our local traditional symbols that, especially from West Africa, I actually am inspired by the way how people live, think birds, nature too. So I'm inspired by a lot of things, especially outside the environment, not within the house, but out of the house. Yeah.
So, meaning you can sit and look at something and it gives you an inspiration to go and create a ceramic.
Yeah, that would be imaginative composition, but specifically in ceramics, we don't do that kind of imaginative composition a lot, depending on the kind of technique. If you had given me a canvas to paint, I would do imaginative composition. But within ceramics, it's kind of one-way side. Like I come and I want to produce pots, maybe bowls, I would do bowls. But now the decoration, it's when I will actually be inspired by something. So in the decoration, maybe I can be inspired by nature. I come and paint, I do paint leaves on my pots or on my plates, or I actually come and be inspired by symbols, like I were inspired by the Adinkra symbols in West Africa, in Ghana. So actually I use the Adinkra symbols to represent my work. So all these symbols represent something. Like this is a crocodile, 2 crocodiles seated.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So it has some meaning behind it, which actually means dignity and encouragement. So I am inspired by a lot of things. Yeah.
What about this?
Yeah, this is a symbol of a hen, which means turning back. Maybe I have had some worth issues or problems, and then I want to turn back to the normal straight life. So that's what it means. Yeah.
Wow, this whole thing is so deep.
Yeah. So specifically, if someone is doing art, I specifically wanted it to put it into this way. Most of the times we see art pieces, but we actually don't ask what kind of art that inspired you, or what kind of art are you doing. But most arts have different kinds of meaning, and they really have a purpose that they represent in life. So I wanted to stand up with the Adinkra symbols so that I can actually represent their symbols, because we use them in different ways. I've seen them in clothes. I've seen them, people putting them on their necklaces. I don't know what they really, maybe they don't know about them, but it's really interesting to represent our culture and our traditions. Maybe next time I can actually do the Bukusu markings or the something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
By all means, by all means.
Yeah.
Oh, I have learned something new. I honestly thought when someone is painting these things, you just sit and your imagination tells you, let me paint this thing that looks like a flower. But to hear that these are two crocodiles sitting,
Yeah.
I am actually
Yeah,
thinking.
I bought that because of the inspiration. Like, I used actually an example of painting, because painting you can actually do imaginative compositions. It's really true. I can actually imagine, maybe I'd had a dream last night, and then I actually represent it on canvas using brushes. I can also do the same with ceramics, because I can really manage to paint maybe my dreams that I have been dreaming about last night or the previous day on my plates by using different kinds of unique paints called, we normally call them soils in our own language of ceramics. So, but they have different kinds of names, varieties of names. I can use the red slip, the white slip, which is actually engove, the white engove. We have the blue engove. We have black stains, and we have glazes, variety of glazes depending on where you actually want the nature of color that you want. So you can really put it on top of it to represent your maybe imaginations or to represent your inspirations. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
What's your market for your products?
My market mainly for my products, they are Europeans.
You?
Yeah, I really don't want to lie, but Africa, I think black people mainly, we do not appreciate art. We haven't reached at a level of appreciating art. But because for them, they really appreciate art, and they actually fell in love with some of the kind of pieces. So I have really a lot of market from Europe than in Africa. Yeah, than a whole, because I really have sent, I did some mostly orders from US, especially back in 2019. I had a big order that required more than 200,000 pieces, which I actually worked on with our company, and we exported the products later after. And we have a showroom which especially is stationed with our studio workplace, and we invite in a lot of Europeans more than black people.
More than black people.
Yeah.
And why is that? Why is it that? I don't know if you'd have an answer for it.
I think I have an answer for it, because we do like shiny stuffs. If I go back home, at home specifically, I think we have more of things that come from China than our own local products. So, and maybe I wanted to create a difference before, when I finish up my master's. I want to create a difference to use our own local materials and maybe inspire our market here in Africa, because I want specifically tackle with glazes, and we like glazes because they are shiny. They give that glassy effect.
Yeah.
That's what we Africans we like.
Are looking for.
But I think maybe because for them they are well conversant with the product, that maybe the shiny effect, so they come back here in Africa to really take our local pieces, the uniqueness of the smoke, because this is really a unique piece. If you won't really find it maybe somewhere in Europe. But now, because I'm a black person, maybe I have seen it somewhere.
Yes.
And maybe I would actually say that, smoke, I can also maybe do that kind of stuff. But for him, they see it as something which is unique to them. And when he has it in, or they have them in their own houses, they feel like they have some unique, precious thing, than something which is really glazed. So I really want to focus on glazes, which I will actually specifically be dealing with ash glazes, because we have all the local materials here. We have trees, which I can actually burn, and then I get the ash from it. After getting the ash, I really wash it. It's a long process of washing because it's like soaking. I soak the ash with water, and then I actually keep on washing depending on the variation of the washes until it really I see the neatness of the water. Then from the washing process, I actually mix in some additives, which specifically can be feldspar. Feldspar is a flax for making the glass effect or the gloss on top to look a little bit appealing. And then I apply it on a piece like this, which is actually fired at 900 something degrees Celsius. Then after applying it on the piece, I will actually put it back into the fire for the second time, which will actually make that glossy effect. Maybe depending on ash glazes, they would go for 2000, maybe 80 degrees Celsius. Or if I want to reduce on the temperature, fire temperatures, because depending on our kilns that we have, most of the times they do not go for 2000 something degrees Celsius. So I have to really bring them back to put some additives, which can be maybe kaolin can bring back the additives, the fire temperatures down. And I reduce on the fire temperature so that immediately after maybe removing it from the kiln, so it will have that glossy feeling and the shiny effect that we African people like. Yeah.
That's quite a process.
Yeah, it's quite a long process, but of course, things concerning with art, if you don't have patience and then the kindness, you really won't get the final product.
And the final product after that long process is definitely worth it.
Yeah. It will be definitely worth it. So most of the times, actually, I do not sell the material. I sell to my clients the time. So that's what I sell specifically.
Okay.
Because it's a long process. Because even before you reach actually on this process, you actually you actually wedge the clay. There's actually a lot of work behind it more than the finished product. So you actually go and pick clay from the swamp, from any swamp, and then you bring it to maybe your workshop. You actually soak it in water. You sieve it. After sieving it, you actually have to wedge it, knead it, and then maybe there is actually where you lay it on the butts after getting that slip from it, soaking it, and then maybe removing all the trash that is in the clay. So you actually soak it. After soaking, you wedge. After wedging, it's like kneading and wedging are almost the same. So after kneading it, and then you can actually let it to dry and gain the leather hard form, the sticky form. So after that process, you really start wedging, and then you throw it on the wheel. You sit down on the wheel, and then you produce something like this. Then from there, you have to trim, do the trimming processes of trimming and maybe turning it, and then there is painting, there is burnishing. After burnishing, then you do the last processes of filing and decoration.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What events have you been able to showcase your work?
Quite many. I've gone to the French fashion show, specifically to present ceramics and fashion. I've actually gone to the Zurich. It's like a traditional market in actually Switzerland, where specifically they do it at every end of the year. So I was actually had that pleasure for going. And then I've actually done a lot of Ugandan exhibitions in the US Embassy. I've gone to the Keyshia, it's like an international school. They also open up some markets depending on the timing and the kind of year that we are in. Yeah, I haven't done one in Kenya, but I hope maybe I'll focus on doing one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please, kindly. Thank you in advance.
Yeah, thank you.
And what opportunities has doing ceramics opened for you?
Quite many. I've interacted with great potters that have actually encouraged me. One of them would be Carola Tengler and Ingrid. I've had an opportunity of speaking with Ingrid. and I've had actually an opportunity for coming back for my master's here in Kenya. So I think quite a number of opportunities that it has opened up. Yeah.
How is it, how is the experience for you doing your master's in something that you really love in a foreign country?
It's quite precious because before I actually came, I knew about glazing, but when I reached actually here, I actually found out another kind of glazing, of formulating glazes, getting stones and then you crush them. After crushing them, you get the powder from it and then you can form a glaze. It's quite much interesting, depending on the volcanical logs that you can get. So it's kind of interesting, and meeting a variety of peoples and interacting with different kinds of artists. So it's kind of interesting to be here and doing ceramics. Yeah.
And how do you market yourself?
I market myself on specifically online, and we have actually a showroom back home. I do market myself on Instagram, to be specific, on Philemon Ahami Instagram, and then we have a website called Vision for Africa International, specifically Potali. So that's how we market our products.
Okay, okay. An interesting one. What's the most memorable piece you have ever made? And what was the inspiration behind it?
That's kind of interesting. In ceramics, wow, I really have done something which was unique that I later on, I actually got a market. There's a client that came and he was looking for someone that can do a buffalo head in clay work. So I had that opportunity for my boss calling me to actually do that. And I did it later on after like one day. He actually posted it on website and then a lot of clients came in. So that, I think it was my best memorable piece. And I really feel unique when I'm doing it because it's a little bit challenging and and it's unique in its own way. Yeah.
You really seem passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a moment where you felt like quitting or where you questioned your choice of being a ceramist?
I can say no, because of when I started doing ceramics, I really have never looked back. Though sometimes it really takes that courage. And I know most of the times people have given up on art or ceramics specifically, but it really takes good times and nights which you are not sleeping to produce some of the pieces, because sometimes you have orders. There's specifically that order that I told you about, the US, for 2,000 something pieces. So we really we are supposed to do it within a short time, for maybe like 3 months. And we thought that we couldn't manage beating that time because it's a long process of drying the pieces and then filing the pieces. After filing the pieces, you have to really decorate them. But later, we used not to sleep. Like, you find that you are sleeping in the studio and remember that you have an order next following day, and you have to really export the pieces in a short time. So we really managed to do that. That's, I think I can't really look back by saying that I've had some, yes, of course I've had some challenges within the kind of work that I do, maybe like lack of specifically materials. Maybe sometimes you lack clients to come and buy your own products. But I think it's not like a way of looking back or saying that I don't have clients, I have to give up on something that I really like. I think it takes that passion to go straight away to ceramics. You do it and then you don't have to look back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the other forms of art that you have done before, painting, you said you've done fashion.
Yeah.
Do you get to do them in between your masters, in between making these amazing pieces? Do you get to do them in between?
I specifically do fashion within my free time. Let me say that of recent I made, was it 20 something before I came here. I was interested, like students had an exhibition, fashion show. So they were looking for really garments to present in, and their theme was vintage. So I remember doing cutting jeans and maybe doing the patchwork. So I really do it when I really have some passion. Maybe I get inspired by the topic that people have placed out so that I can join. And I also do maybe fashion sometimes. I have to look for, there is a wedding, and then maybe I have to go for that wedding. I do my own kinds of trousers that I really go for the wedding too. And for the case of painting, I do it for maybe if I have a specific order from a client, maybe they know me that I can do painting. So that's the kind of painting or the other kinds of art forms that I can do specifically. Then with sculpture, I have friends of mine that really do sculpture. So I had an attachment with them, and we did some precious sculpture for a crocodile somewhere in some hotel, and it was like kind of a fountain. So that's when I can really do ceramics, and then I do some other kinds of artworks.
But that's a good thing that you still keep the fire of these other arts blazing.
Yeah, it's really kind of that, because you have sometimes really forget, maybe sometimes, like if I have to do some pencil work, the sketching, it's not like the back time that I used to sit down and maybe do it faster in sketching. But when you actually take some good time without doing something, you really forget the touch.
Yes.
But if you keep on visiting there and there again, it doesn't really get out of you. Yeah.
So as we wind up, what are your future plans as a ceramist?
As a ceramist, my future plans are really getting the local market here, so that instead of you people falling in love with the Chinese stuff, so that I can actually get the market here back at home. That's when I will actually maybe have done an achievement to my name, maybe, because initially I'm focusing on doing toilet seaters and ceramic tiles, the sinks, and other kinds of roofing tiles. Instead of we people bringing tiles from outside, I want to really focus on that, and I produce tiles using our local clay and the normal sand that we, of course, tiles, you actually use sand from the beach. So we have the sand here, but we really export it outside, and then they will bring back the finished product. So instead of doing that, we can rather do it from here. Yeah, that's my main plan. Yeah.
And I'm sure it's very possible.
Yeah, it's really possible.
Yes, and I wish you all the best with that.
Thank you.
Go all out and do it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for agreeing to grace us with your presence.
Thank you too for hosting me here and giving me that opportunity for exploring my maybe ideas and my views. They might not be really inspiring, but
they actually are.
But
actually are.
Yeah, thank you for that opportunity.
Okay, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. His page on Instagram is Philemon Ahami. Please go follow him and purchase his products so that we can change our name as Africans. As you've heard, he said we like China things. Now we can appreciate things that actually come from Africa. So thank you so much, and until next time, keep it track mind.